You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 133. Today is February 22, 2025. And before I introduce my guest, let's see. The hotline, guys, 818-806-8595. Leave a voice message. You can call anonymous, leave a voice message, and I would play your audio, your question on a future podcast episode. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Ride With Me Podcast, TikTok, FTA_podcast, YouTube, FTA_podcast. If you listen on Spotify, please hit that follow button, rate the podcast, and leave a comment. I'm also at iHeartRadio, Pandora, Apple Podcast, like I said, mainly Spotify, guys. And then don't forget LABRANDPERLA. Check out his Instagram page, www.per-la.com. He's got some great sweaters, guys. They're very comfortable, very soft. My sister-in-law came over for my son's birthday a couple weeks ago, and she was wearing it. So she was like, I had to educate her on the definition of what perla meant, but she said it was a very comfortable sweater. So yeah. So, and again, before I bring up my guest, I'm probably going to give, I've been going strong on this podcast for the last 3 months, an episode every week. And when usually I go MIA for months at a time. Cause like I said, this is just a hobby. This is not, I don't make money off this podcast. I have had a sponsor, in the past. I do have Perla, obviously, but he's an upcoming, he's an upcoming new, merchandise and entrepreneur himself. So I don't want to take money from him. So we traded. I promote his podcast, his merchandise, and he, brings us stuff. And so like I said, the last 3 months have been a week episode, every week an episode. I'm gonna take a month off because starting next week, my son starts his band competition. So if I know the dates, I just don't know the schedule. So I don't want to tell my guest, hey, well, on this day at this time, and then the schedule for band is actually around that time, because it's not a set schedule. It's not every day, every competition is a different start time. So one can be in the morning, one can be in the evening. So why am I going to chance it? I really just give a month off and then go from there. Maybe in that month, people would be more, people would, maybe, feel more comfortable to try to reach out and leave a voice message or to be a guest. So, yeah. And when I say son, I was asked, previously or recently that I said in an episode that's a story for later. My son, the youngest, Julian, is no longer in band, and it was a heartbreak for him. I've never seen him cry. He hardly ever cries. And it's a heartbreak for me because I know that he loves band. So he's not in band anymore. So I'm still going to support my oldest because he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to quit. He wants to be there for his brother, but he doesn't want to quit because it's his last year. And I completely understand. So here's the story. Right before winter break, the instructor, there's a difference. There's the director and there's the instructor. The instructor assigned my son a homework that involved filming himself playing a certain song. And he got distracted with helping other students do their assignment. So by the time he came it was his turn to do his, the batteries on the equipment had died, so he really couldn't do his assignment. So he was approached by the person they kind of give in hidden, like the person in charge of percussion of pit, reached out to my son and told him, okay, well, you didn't do your video assignments, so you're going to have to run a mile. that was his punishment. So he responded back with light work. It is what it is, light work. I need to work on my endurance anyways. So the instructor got wind of this conversation that a couple of days later, it was a Wednesday right before the break, he kind of cornered another one of the students and asked her to see this conversation. And she, the child didn't want to, and she even started crying. And when she stopped, the crying didn't even faze him. He didn't care. He still wanted to see this conversation. So after she was done crying, she showed him the conversation, and he decided right there and then that my son was being disrespectful, and that he kicked him out of band. So not even the band director did this. It was the band instructor. The band instructor is not even an employee of the school. So it pissed me off, obviously. And that afternoon, my son called me, and because I wasn't home yet, so he called me and he started crying. And so that really pissed me off. So then, we sat down with the band the band director, which is the lady that works for the school. And she agreed that the punishment did not match the crime, and just to wait till he cools off and then reach out to him and, try to get Julian back in the band. So Julian did exactly that, reached out to him on New Year's Day, and homeboy responded with like this big ass paragraph pretty much saying how my son is a bad kid, disrespectful, bad kid. But not once did he ever bring that up to the band director. So that's what I call BS. So he pretty much wrote this long ass paragraph saying that my son's a bad child. So fuck it. It is what it is. So I used to drive the U-Haul trucks with George to drive the equipment to the school, to the competition. And since my son's no longer in pit, I refuse to load the pit equipment and drive the U-Haul truck that hauls the pit equipment. And it is what it is. I don't want anything to do with this band instructor. So yeah, that's the story of why my son is no longer in band. The child that the instructor made cry went to her mother. Her mother went to the district and was fighting to get my son back in the band. And my son said, as long as that guy is the instructor, I want nothing to do with band. And I don't blame him, because I don't want anything to do with him. George will tell you, last event that we had, George went off on him. So, he snaps at parents. He obviously has made kids cry, and he's still the instructor. Nobody fired him. My understanding, the principal went off on him, told him he couldn't be doing that, but he only got a slap on the wrist, which I believe is 100% BS. So that is the reason why my son Julian is not in band. And for those of you that asked, thank you for listening to the podcast. And today's guest is my new friend, Tip. Tip, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good, Andy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Just here, another day in the books, right?
Right. I'm excited.
So what is Tip short for?
It's short for Tippy, which is my last name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just see that on your by the way, guys, this is another friend from TikTok. I've said it multiple times. I only make friends on TikTok now, so
that's where they're all at, right?
Right. That's where most of the friends are at now. So yes, I met Tip on TikTok, and her name on TikTok does say Tip. So we're going with Tip. Didn't know that was your last name part though.
Yep.
So how is the weather in your neck of the woods?
Oh, well, you can tell it's winter time. It's like 12 degrees, and today it was like freezing rain and then ice, and now it's raining again, so that's fun.
Yeah, we're at 62 degrees right now. And I think...
Oh, yeah, I'm jealous.
And I believe the coldest it's going to get tonight is like 50. So, yeah. Well,
we had 50s like 2 weeks ago, and now we're back down to 10 and 20s. So,
yeah, my brother is driving from Laredo to, I think he said, where the Mall of America's at. He's driving in that direction. He said it was
nice.
a 19-hour drive, but he said he is not looking forward to like the -3 or something like that. I was like, damn.
We had the negative weathers like a little over a month ago. It was crazy. Even my heat went out.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
When it's windy over here, all we get is like it does turn off the heater, and I don't even know why. I'm playing with the machine on the wall. I'm like, why aren't you turning on? And I go realize, oh shit, the heater blew off.
Oops.
Yeah, the heater blew off. So, anyways, Tip, let's get to know you, Tip.
Right.
Like we said, I met Tip on TikTok, and what got you on TikTok?
Well, it's crazy because I've actually had a TikTok for like over a year now, but I never really put a lot of work into it up until like the first week in November. I was just like, maybe I should start taking this seriously, and it's been fun ever since, honestly. I'm still like learning, because there's so many things you can and can't do or you should do on there, so I'm still learning.
When I started TikTok, at first it was just kind of like to get what the whole hype was for, because it was, funny videos and stuff. And then I realized, wait a minute.
Yeah. I
can start promoting my podcast episodes on here, and I can do. So I started doing that at first. Didn't realize that, I was going to start finding guests out of there. And so but I've noticed that most of my listeners, the downloads started going up when I created an Instagram page dedicated for the podcast. That's when I saw the listeners kind of like the downloads started to pop up. So TikTok,
yeah, it's good to have all that promotion. Sorry,
no worries. So TikTok, I get I get my guests, and then Instagram promotes the hell out of the podcast. So
yeah, Instagram will do that for you.
Yes, it does. So again, who is Tip? You told me you were down to earth.
Yeah, I think I'm very down to earth. What I've typically did though, like lately, because like the last 5 years of my life have been pretty hard. So in terms of like, I take my pain and kind of turn it into laughter. Single mama of 2. My son has autism, and he's also nonverbal. And then he was also diagnosed with a rare form of epilepsy like 3 years ago, and he had like a pacemaker for seizures in there. So I do that, and then I have my 4-year-old daughter. I'm a full-time college student going for early childhood education, and I do want to specialize in special education, so it's pretty exciting. I love music. I like being outside. My kids have me running all day, so it's always an adventure, for sure.
Yeah, how old are your kids again?
My son is 11, and my daughter is 4.
Okay.
She acts like she's 10.
Oh, yeah.
My gosh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
God knew what he was doing with her.
You said you're studying, going to college?
Yes, full time.
Full time. How long have you been doing this for?
I'm on my second semester, actually. So it was August when we started. So I'm on my second semester. They kind of break it up into 2 sessions. So I'll have 4 classes for a whole semester. And I'm getting ready to finish the first session of the second semester in 2 weeks.
Okay. And how long is this our schooling going to go for? How long are you doing it for?
I'll graduate in March of next year.
Okay.
So it's like a year,
about a year
and a half.
Okay. Yeah. And what? I'm sorry. I believe you said it. What are you studying for again?
Early childhood education. I'll get my associate's degree.
Okay. All right. And then
Yep.
you said your son has a disability, or your son or daughter?
My son, he has a list of them, to be honest with you. He has autism. He's level 2, so they kind of call it severe. He's also nonverbal. He has something called Legis syndrome, which it's more like brain. It's got to do with his brain pretty much and how it functions and stuff. And then the rare form of epilepsy was just diagnosed 3 years ago. He can have like any kind of seizure. It doesn't matter. There's no specific ones. It's just he's on 5 meds twice a day. It used to be 9, but now he's only on 5 because he got that device put in over the summer.
Oh man, a device?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much like a pacemaker for seizures.
Wow.
I just like say he's about to have a seizure. I take this magnet and I just kind of make a figure 8 over it and it stops it.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like 3 months ago. No, maybe it was like back in October. He had a grand mal seizure and I swiped the device and it stopped the grand mal seizure instantly. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm hoping like within like the next year and a half, he won't have to be on medicine at all.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's hard to be hopeful sometimes because like when he first was diagnosed, they told me he would only be on medicine for 2 years and we're going on 4.
Oh no.
So
yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
That has to be what do you call it? I want to say challenging life, but like you're pretty much running around all day, right?
Yeah. And I've had doctors tell me that you need to prepare yourself. He'll be with you for the rest of his life type of situation. So I guess I'm mentally preparing for that all the time.
And this is the 11-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
That's crazy.
The 4-year-old's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How is she? How is your daughter like? Besides already acting like a teenager.
You can hear her in the background. Goodness. She's very rambunctious. Her imagination is out of this world. It's just different having like Peyton with all his disabilities and then I've got her. It's kind of like polar opposite kids. Like it's pretty interesting, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. She keeps me on my toes.
No, that's good. I have well, I don't post my kids on TikTok or Instagram for the podcast because it's public page. But
right.
yeah, if you guys if anybody has my personal account, they'll see that those kids keep me busy. My hip has been hurting for the past couple months because my son knocked me on my ass one day. We were wrestling. As you can see, I'm wearing a wrestling t-shirt. And so my son freaking knocked me on my ass. And then it's been hurting, but it is what it is. And then recently, he's been wanting to go play basketball. And we were watching, but he's very like, oh, prison rules, huh? I'm like, fuck, kid, relax. We're not in prison. And
wow.
Yeah, and recently, I don't know, we were watching a movie and they're playing basketball. We were watching like a movie trailer, and they were playing basketball. I'm like, see, the defender does not touch the guy with the ball, and the guy with the ball does not touch the defender. You all up in my face, bro. And he's like, Dad, it's prison rules. I'm like, fucker, it's not prison rules.
That's funny. How old is he?
He's 6. He just turned 16 this month, a couple weeks ago.
Talking about prison rules.
Right?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and no, he's something else, and like he's the kind of person that so lately I've been having him watch like the old school Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey movies.
Nice.
I recently had him watch Ace Ventura 1, and every time a part of the movie came on, like something that Jim Carrey says in the movie, he's looking at me like, really, Dad? That's where you got it from? Because my compadre,
that's a classic.
My compadre came over for the for Super Bowl, and my son and my compadre were in the fantasy football league. So the first thing my compadre does when he walks into the front door is loser, loser. And he starts.
I love it.
And so my son didn't know where that was from until he watched Ace Ventura, the first one. And then like there's something that I think my wife one day did. Do not go in there. Woo! And my son's like, really, Mom? Really? And
yes, you gotta watch them to know.
I get him, like I said, by him watching these old school movies, he remembers stuff that I say around the house. So it's like, really, that's where you got it from, Dad? I'm like, yeah. Or like I say, so I pick him up from school. And if I'm running late, I'll send on the group text so that everyone's aware. There's enough communication. If I don't get there in time to pick you guys up, I say, just wait longer. So, Jim Carrey says in Ace Ventura, if I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. So,
right. It'll be okay.
Yeah. So, like my son, when he watched it and he said, okay, he got the reference of where where I say that,
he gets it.
He gets it. So, yeah, no, I mean, the 11-year-old, I mean, obviously pretty much acts like the 4-year-old, right? So it's like you have 2 4-year-olds, right?
Kind of. They say he's more of like 6.
6?
That's kind of how they say it, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like smart in a lot of different areas. I've noticed I kind of enable him sometimes. I don't realize that I do it, but I've been picking up on it. But he can do a lot of things because he still surprises me till this day. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, whatever keeps you on your toes. So whatever keeps you on your toes. Are you homeschooling him? I'm assuming, obviously, right?
No. He goes to a school for kids with disabilities. He's like on an autism scholarship and everything.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you ever worry about him when he's not around? Because you have to trust a stranger with the magnet. You know what I mean? So.
Well, they haven't had to do that yet at school, but they're all trained.
Okay.
Because like I have like a specialist with the device who like he went in there. Well, he didn't actually have to go in there and talk to him because like the nurse at his school, she specializes in a lot of things, so she kind of already knew how to deal with it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they haven't had to do it. But they have magnets at school, but I'm the only one who's actually had to use it.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. It's a bad and a good thing, I guess, at the same time.
Yeah. It's like hot and cold on most days, but he's been pretty good besides getting over the flu.
Okay. That's good. I mean, just obviously right now with the weather, are they at home? They're not school. The snow day? Is it a snow day?
No, it's Saturday.
Oh, that's right. Duh. What about
yeah, silly.
What about all last week? What about yesterday?
No, he didn't go all last week, and then they don't even go back until Tuesday. So
that's right.
There hasn't been fevers. He's just like so tired. Like when he gets sick, it's a lot harder on him than it would be like for us, because like he can't take specific medicines, or it'll like lower his threshold of having seizures. It's like a constant thing, but I figure it out. It's fine.
Kids don't come with manuals.
No, they don't. You pick it up as you go, for sure.
Yeah, you learn as you go. We're watching the newest special of Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, and he does talk about how you can't Google life experiences. So yeah.
No.
You okay there?
Yeah, you can't hear her in the background. Like I told her it's time to go to bed, and mommy, I can't sleep. Just close your eyes.
No worries.
Goodness.
I mean, if you wanted to have her there sitting with you, that's fine. I mean,
she's okay. She'll eventually come downstairs anyways. I don't want to get up. So she'll come down, I'm sure.
All right. Well, I mean, that sounds like it's Very what do you call it? Busy schedule you got there going on.
Yeah, it's okay though. It keeps me busy. I like staying busy.
Yeah. Good. Well, let's see. How was your childhood?
Well, I would say I had a good, but what's the word I want to use? I personally, in my opinion, being a kid, I thought it was a good childhood, but as you know, as you like grow up and you become an adult and you hear about all these different stories and then you really sit and think about your childhood, you're like, holy crap, you know? My
Yeah.
parents weren't ever really around. Like I was always with my aunt or with the next door neighbor. She was an art teacher, so she kind of gave me a lot of my memories from my childhood.
You did mention to me that your aunt was like pretty much like in a way your mom, because she's the one that had you in baseball and pretty much took care of you
Yeah,
most of the
pretty
time.
much. Yeah, it was me and I had like 4 or 5 boy cousins and I was the only girl, so definitely grew up tomboyish.
Yeah, my
Mm-hmm.
mom had 12 of us and only
Nice.
one sister. So she is,
Oh,
dude,
poor thing.
sometimes I'm talking to her sometimes I'm talking to her on the phone and she's like giving her husband like pretty much getting on his ass
Mm,
like
right.
oh yeah, like she's not afraid of him. Like she'll stand toe to toe with him. And
Yeah,
then
she's ready at any
yeah,
point.
yeah. So he looks at because they like to call me on FaceTime, so he'll look at the camera and say, "It's your fault, dude. You made her this way." I'm like, "We made her
all 11 of us.
we made her the toughest." Yes, I remember
Yeah, man.
one day, one of my brothers got stepped toe to toe with her, and she picked him up and dropped him like on a power bomb, like a wrestling
Oh,
power
yeah.
bomb, and then
She plays no games.
yeah, and then like maybe like a few months later, he kept on messing with her again, and she picked him up from the throat and like chokeslammed his ass. I'm like, yeah, dude, don't
Nice.
fuck with her, man.
Yeah, don't fuck with her at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, growing up with your aunt, then besides baseball, what else? Any fond memories of living with your aunt? Growing up with your cousins?
Well, we used to go camping all the time. Like that was like our family trip was going camping for like 4 or 5 days.
Nice.
I'm trying to think. There used to be like this after school program. Like they used to hook us up with like breakfast and lunch and then they would take us to do things. That was pretty fun. I don't remember being with my parents a lot, honestly. They were into other things.
And you said you're also you lived with or you were around a teacher, Miss Gus?
Yeah, she was an art teacher. She lived right next door. She was an 8th grade art teacher. Yeah.
So if it wasn't your aunt, it was you actually stayed with the art teacher?
No. I moved next door to her when I was a kid, and that's how I met her. And if I wasn't like over at my aunt's, I was with her.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like a straight Matilda lifestyle.
Literally. Oh gosh. Yeah, pretty much. You put it that way. I gotta write that one down. I like that.
Straight Matilda.
Man. We were always at like Surf's Up and swimming, and we lived right by Lake Erie, so we were always playing in the lake too.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
So it sounds like you had two good role models your childhood.
Yeah. Since I didn't, the two that I had were kind of is non-existent, what I want to say. I mean, kind of. They weren't really there.
So what's the deal with that? What's the deal with your parents?
They were into other things when I was a child, like drugs type stuff. So, and I didn't know this, obviously, because when you're a child, you're oblivious to things, you know what I mean? But again, I learned so many things when I grew up and became an adult and like talked to family members, and now I'm like, wow, that makes sense now.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I remember when we were kids. I had to have been like in the 4th grade, and I remember that my mother would leave us at this lady's house who was supposed to be like the landlord to wherever they're gonna go move to, and what felt like forever. It could have been only a couple of days, but it felt like forever. Like we wouldn't see her for days at a time, and we were just staying at this lady's house with no one to really, I would say, what's the word, cater to us, because I mean, I'm 4th grade. I can't feed my siblings. So we pretty much had access to the kitchen. So I would try to figure out whatever the hell they had, cereal and milk and, cookies or whatever. So, which at the moment, like you said, when you're a kid, I mean, this is not.
You don't pay attention to that. Yeah. You're just like, yeah, I got all the things I want right now, so it's okay.
I remember going to the front window and, catch freaking little flies and throw them in the fish tank and watch the fish eat the flies. So I kept myself entertained. But like I said, to me, like that, when you grow up, because as a kid, you think it's normal.
We're oblivious to a lot of things. And then I was told to stay out of adults' business. So.
Right. Yeah, no, I just, like I said, to me, I thought that was normal, and it wasn't. When you grow up and you realize, wait a minute, fuck, that's not right. That's not normal. So.
Man,
now it's very, very hard for me to. I'm not trying to be a helicopter parent, but in fact, like last week, my wife's like, "Hey, the boys are gonna go spend a night with my sister," and I kind of lost my shit. I'm like, "It's my fucking weekend. They're my kids. Like it's my weekend. I'm off work, so they belong to me. Damn it!" But it's just, at the end of the day, it's like I told her the next morning, "Babe, it's not that. It's just that, when I'm off work, I would like to spend time with the boys because." One, they're 16 and 17. One's about to be 18. So they're pretty much close enough to when they get jobs and go to college, and
they're going to want to live their own lives.
You're hardly ever going to see them. So it's like, why is it that they're spending the night when they should be like on my time? So, and it's like a trigger because, like I said, it's a memory of when I was a kid and like being left alone at a stranger's house. So, but
yeah.
So what's the deal with your parents? So you said they were on drugs.
Yes.
Just hard ass, some strong shit, I guess.
Yeah, the nose candy kind.
Oh, the nose candy kind.
Yeah.
Oh man, what did my son say the other day? He says something about how these kids nowadays with their fucking jokes.
Yeah, their lingo and stuff. I don't get it.
So they were obviously on drugs, and to them, I'm assuming it was more important than their kids.
Yes, of course. Because, like I said, I just remember always being with my aunt, and like even being like a teenager, and my parents were still together. Like I remember my dad coming home all the time, being angry, not speaking to nobody, and just like he hated his life. And then they got divorced, even though he was like, he's married to the woman he was dating while he was still married to my mother.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Doesn't stop there.
No.
Gosh.
So you said that your mom passed away, and before obviously they got divorced, but then you had mentioned to me that your mom had passed away in, I believe, 2021.
Yeah, August of 2021, out of nowhere. She was only 50.
No cause of death, like no idea. Just
they said it was a heart attack, but like I never knew her to have heart issues. The only thing I could think of is she had the COVID shot a week before she died.
Oh shit!
Literally a week. So I'm gonna go with that. She like went to sleep and didn't wake up type stuff.
That's crazy. I don't really want to get into that bullshit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then so how long before that did they divorce?
Okay. Maybe like 2019, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Because even like the whole way they split up was crazy too. So it was like a tit for tat thing. My mom like disappeared for a weekend. Nobody knew where she went. She came back and told my daddy he had to leave.
She told him he had to leave, or she had to leave.
She told him he had to leave. It was, I remember, like, I don't know. It was just weird. Because actually, he left. They, like, split up right, like, a month after they told me he wasn't my birth father. They told me this when I was, like, 24.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, I'm like, okay.
I was about 24 years old when I found out that my father wasn't my father. So we're there. We're same page right there.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Even
till this day.
I sadly had to find out through some court documents. So I said it before, but I reached out to my grandma and I said, hey, I'm going to start looking for my dad. And she told me to hold off. And she sent me some paperwork. And then when I read the paperwork, it stated that my father, who I believe was my father, is not my father. We can take a pause.
Okay.
Hey, this is Irving Gomringer, founder of Perla. Perla represents my journey. Born in Peru, raised in LA. The name itself combines the two places that shape me. My brand is all about blending streetwear with simplicity and luxury, something LA is known for, with high-quality garments for those who value style and substance. My vision is to amplify Latino voices in that industry. By rocking with the brand, not only are you making your look stand out, but you're also helping me and all Latinos to be represented and celebrated. So if you're ready to elevate your fit and rep the culture, check out my website at www.per-la.com and on Instagram at LABRANDPERLA. Thanks for supporting Perla and being part of the movement. 10% of the profit will be donated to Action Against Hunger. Thank you.
And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. She okay? Is your daughter okay?
Yes, she's a stage 5 clinger, so I'm not upstairs, so
she's freaking out.
Yes. Because I told her I was going to be upstairs, and I came down here.
You want to go upstairs? That's fine.
No, it's okay. She'll go to sleep. You're okay, right? Okay.
So you were saying, like I said, back to what I was saying. I found out that my father wasn't my father through some court documents. How did you find out he wasn't your dad?
I got a random friend request from him on Facebook, like back when like Facebook first became a thing, and I had asked, like, I don't know why I'd asked my mom about it, but thinking about like when I asked her, she got like really uncomfortable, and then a few days later is when they sat me down and was like, well, we have something to tell you. I'm like, okay. This is like, he's not your actual father. I'm like, what? You know, like, what? And then they're like, this guy is. And I'm like, oh, so that's why he requested me on Facebook.
Your biological father requested you on Facebook.
Yes, yes. And I'm like, I don't know this guy. And I remember showing her, and I remember her being uncomfortable about it. And now, I mean, I guess I see why. And I've only ever had 1.5 conversations with the dude. He's in prison in Florida, and he has been like in and out of prison my whole life, apparently.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah. I didn't miss out on much, obviously. So it's okay.
Yeah, no, if people know that my daughter is not biologically my daughter, but I raised her since she was 4 months old. And when I was fighting for custody for the kids, the mom tried to bring this guy back in her life, and the judge is like, this is the guy you want in your daughter's life? This guy's been in and out of prison. Like, this is what you want? So she did not help her case. She made her case worse by trying to say, hey, this is
trying to bring him back. Yeah.
So in and out of prison. So
Yep, I had, like I said, one conversation, and he first tried to say he never knew about me. But he left my mom homeless while she was 8 months pregnant with me in Florida. But you didn't know about me.
Interesting.
Like,
but then randomly hits you up on Facebook.
Right, but you didn't know about me? Like, dude, we don't need to... Lay down.
Yeah.
Shh. Like, you knew, and it's fine.
So
It's okay.
did that change the relationship with the guy that you thought was your father?
My dad?
Yeah. Well, you obviously still call him dad, so.
Well, now we don't have much of a relationship at all. We haven't spoke because thinking about it now, yes, it did change our relationship drastically because like the way he's treated me, like in regards to his new wife and her daughter, it's mind blowing. Like I'm already kind of like the black sheep of the family because I'm the only one who has mixed children.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's a thing. And like me and his wife and we just don't get along. Like I can't do disrespect. I don't like people who think they're kind of better than everybody all the time. I just don't do that. I have a mouth on me, and I've worked on my delivery, but I won't tolerate disrespect. I don't care who it is.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm the same. I'm the black sheep because I won't keep my mouth shut.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
Gosh, I've always been this way. Like,
And that's
I've worked on my delivery.
and that's why I always say, like, honestly, if there's guys, come on, if there's shit that I say on this podcast and it involves the family, and I'm talking to my siblings, you guys are more than welcome to go to the courthouse and find all this shit that I'm saying on court documents. You guys are more than welcome.
It's not like it's not true.
You guys are more closer to the Ventura County Courthouse than I am. You guys are more than welcome to go pull up all this shit that I'm saying. That's what I tell the same thing about my kids and with the custody. And my daughter's been calling me a lot more often. And there's days that she says like that, I haven't spoken to you in days, and it feels like it's forever. And because we didn't talk to each other for like 3 years. And I always tell her, kid, I mean, if you ever doubt something I say, you are more than welcome to, go to Ventura County. You're an adult now, and, you can pick up whatever documents you need to find out, we need to find to validate whatever it is that I'm saying, because that's what they're there for. And, but yeah, no, freaking, what do you call it? So you have not spoken to him for a couple years now?
Well, no, actually, we were kind of okay. So, like, me and his wife got into it real bad, like 3 Easters ago.
Okay.
Like, we got into it bad to where I even kind of had to put my hands on her daughter.
Oh, damn.
It was more so of like a manhandle type thing because I wasn't going to physically hit her because she wasn't 18 yet, and they would try to put me in jail or something crazy like that. But it got to a point where me or my kids wasn't allowed at my dad's house, and we haven't been for the last 3 years. But a little over a month ago, actually on my mom's birthday, January 20th, I made a Facebook post. It wasn't rude or disrespectful. It was just more so a truth of a lot of situations that people don't see. And apparently they got really hurt about it or upset about it because people can see the truth of the situation, and that's what they were worried about. Oh, you're disrespectful and this and that. Like, it is what it is. Like, prove something to me in that post that wasn't real, and then we can have a real conversation. But it blew up so bad. Like, her daughter got on the status and was talking about my mother, my parenting skills, and then she was calling me from my dad's phone saying crazy stuff. And he even told me, like, he just started texting me running his mouth. And he told me, like, well, then I'll just stay out of your life. Okay, do that. Because if you want to be with somebody like that, you're just as bad as she is. And I don't care who it is. I don't care. Like, you're not going to disrespect me and my kids over and over, and I'm supposed to be quiet. I don't operate like that.
That's the one thing about my wife. So the moment that my mother started saying things about my wife, I told my wife, don't worry about it. I'm not bringing you around this person. And so during the holidays, you hear stories. Well, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law need to drive to 3 hours away to make it back in time to be at this event and at our side of the family and stuff like that.
Yeah, everything's segregated.
Yeah,
I get it.
So I tell my wife,
it's like you get custody of them, you know?
So I told my wife, aren't you lucky that we don't have to do any of that shit?
Gosh. The past year with holidays, me and my sister, my brother felt like, well, on this day you'll get custody of your dad, and then we get him the rest of the time, type stuff.
Right?
Like, no thanks. I just rather not do it. Like,
yeah. No, I rather not. I just tell my wife, no, don't worry about it. I'm never gonna force you to go anywhere near my family.
And it sucks that like people are even disrespectful to like your significant others like that. I tried though for over a decade, and sometimes you meet people in life you just will not get along with, and it's okay.
It's sad because what they say is that sometimes blood's not even like blood. Random people. Let's say for yourself, like yourself, can be more family than your own family. Your own blood, yeah. So
I've gotten that over the last couple of years for sure, because anymore it's just like me and my kids. Yeah. Honestly. I have my sister and my brother, but they have their own lives, and
I have people that I've met through this podcast or on TikTok that will call me and check up on me, or text me and check up on me more than blood.
Yeah, same here. I've met like at least a good 10 to 20 people from TikTok who genuinely care and are worried about me. And it's like, it's crazy. I love it. Like, I've met some really good friends on there.
I had a young lady on the podcast, was it 2 podcast episodes ago? And she's from the young lady from the Philippines. And on Valentine's Day, she sent me a message on TikTok, and she sent me a video, and it said something about a dad, right? And she told me, thank you for being a good dad, meaning to my kids, because she knows about my kids, because of the advice that I've given her. And she told me, thank you for being my dad / friend on TikTok.
Oh, I love that.
Because she trusted me with something off the podcast. She sent me a message and she was asking for my advice, and I gave her my 100% best advice I can give her. And a couple of days later, she tells me that thank you for being a good dad /
That's so good though. I love that.
Again, this young lady's 16 hours difference, and she's so it's crazy that, like I said, there's more people. Friends that you meet are more family than your own family, and it sucks.
I'm learning. It does suck, but I mean, what can you do? I still talk to my aunt though all the time.
That's good.
I love my aunt.
No, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Well, it is what it is with your dad. I mean, at the end of the day, they're missing out.
Pretty much.
They're missing out.
But even like when he was around, like there used to be arguments all the time. Like me and her really got into it because I called her my dad's shitty grandparents. Like, you guys you don't come to see them. You don't pick them up. You don't take them for the day or even for the weekend. They don't do any of that. But because I called it out, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Like,
same.
I'm okay with being the bad guy in the story every time.
No, same here.
It's okay.
Same here. Like, she doesn't ask, like, neither grandma, I'm talking because my wife's not biologically their mom. So neither grandma reaches out and checks on the boys. They have cell phones now.
That's so sad. Yeah, they're 16 and 17 at this point. They'll let you know.
You have a lady that at first was very skeptical of having her daughter date someone with kids, and then to now loves my boys more than life himself. She did like a what do you call those CD in the banks to save money for them, to have money when they're of age. And she loves the boys so much. I'm like, and they're not even biologically. So it's crazy, man. I mean, the boys say that honestly they don't need what they don't know. They don't need who they don't know, and they're not gonna miss.
So true.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
You can't miss somebody who was never around or there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's the same thing that I say. Like I've said it before. My wife asked me, "What happens if you get the phone call that your mom passed away?" And I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna act. Either I'm gonna,
Yeah,
either
you don't know until it happens, honestly.
I have multiple options. Either I'm gonna get sad, I'm gonna cry, or I'm gonna celebrate. It's sad to say.
It is what it is.
It's sad to say, but I guess until that day comes, it is what it is.
Pretty
Let's
much.
see. You had mentioned something about an ex. Back in 2021.
My daughter's dad.
You had said something about he's in jail.
I mean, he is now, but not for anything to do with me.
With you.
I'm not sure what he's been doing with his life, but I don't tend to worry about it. But we had like our own physical altercations that cost him to go to jail and become a felon. And yeah, going through, I mean, that's the first man who ever like physically put their hands on me. And like the physical, I don't know. It's just a lot. Even sometimes it's hard to talk about. And he's like the mental abuse is mind blowing because some people, how do I want to say it?
His mental abuse or your mental abuse?
The mental abuse that comes out of his mouth. Like his mouth is fierce. Like when you think of like the most hurtful, like craziest shit anybody could say to you, it's been said to me. Okay, I can promise you that. Like, it's just crazy. I don't know, but I got to a point where like I moved past it. I think I did, and in order for my daughter, I guess you could say. But again, like the way he's living his life now obviously isn't in the right direction still, so that ain't got nothing to do with me.
So when what do you call it? I guess I'm going to ask you certain questions like I did the episode before. But when it first, because the last episode was also she mentioned domestic violence, but when it first, like you said, he got physical with you. So when he first hit you, what came to mind? Like, did you leave right away? Did you stay around? Why did you stay?
I mean, I can't even give you a good answer as to why I stayed, because like the altercation lasted for like a good half hour, and I was holding my daughter the entire time. So that's kind of, and I hit back apparently. Like I wasn't like, oh no, don't hit me. Like I was hitting back.
Okay. Good.
I don't know. In that moment in time, I just kind of blacked out, I want to say. But obviously, like after the fact, like I was scared to be in my house for like a good 6 months by myself. Because I'm like, is he going to come back and do something? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I was scared. It took me like a good year and a half to like, I don't want to say get over the situation, but mentally I had to move on or it was just going to keep crushing me.
Right.
And I don't have time for that. Like I said, like when I deal with pain, I turn it into laughter and make a joke out of it. I have dark humor, so it's fine. It's fine. Dark humor tends to work for me. I keep getting told like, oh, you're so strong. You're so strong. And sometimes I really can't even give you an answer as to how or why. Like, I just kind of do it. I have no choice. Like, I've had to deal with my feelings and emotions with certain situations by myself for so long that I've just I knock it out one by one. I just knock it out. I get tested a lot, of course, but I've got 2 little kids to live for, so I don't have time to crash out as much as I'd like to.
In that year and a half that you said you were kind of like working to, like put this in the past, like did you go to therapy? Did you?
I was going to, but 2 months after it happened, my mom died.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, I didn't, I kind of turned it off for a second, if that makes sense. I turned it off, and then I'm the big sister.
Okay.
So the big sister has to do everything. And after my mom died, I had to, like, clean out her and my brother's house. I had to help take my brother to work for a couple months. We had to teach him how to drive, had to find him a place to live. Like, I didn't fully get to deal with my mom's death until like after a year. And then I was just numb. Like, the first 6 months, I drank and I drank and I drank. And I think it was a mixture of dealing with that and then dealing with the whole domestic violence situation. Like, yeah, like I said, I'm good at throwing things in the back of my mind and not being able to deal with it because I don't have time.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's so when I would do this podcast, it's kind of like when I have my guests on here, it's kind of like, you know, to kind of give examples of what if they're going through something like that, what you did to, you know, you're pretty much giving advice. It's pretty much what you're saying right now is you're giving advice of what you did to cope and to heal and all this good stuff. And I mean, obviously drinking didn't.
Drinking doesn't help. I don't advise people to drink it out because, like, when my mom died, I was mad at her. So I went through the phase of hating myself a little bit because I was so upset with her about something so stupid, and then she died. So it's like that. It's a different thing to deal with. And again, like, sometimes even to this day, I still don't know how I cope with things. All I can tell you is to deal with it. You have to deal with it. You can't keep pushing it in the back of your mind or pushing it to the side. Oh, I'll deal with it later type shit. You have to deal with it head on. Like, head on. It helps you. It helps everybody around you. And you, I don't know. I'm one of those people in life who goes through things the hard way. So I'm constantly, maybe that's why I'm so strong now, because, like, I've learned so many hard lessons that I have no choice but to deal with it and move on. And then it's up to me on how I'm going to move forward with it, you know? I'll tell you though, I'm tired. I'll tell you that. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Because, man.
I think I say the same thing. I say the same thing when somebody comes to me and they're just being negative, or, like, you know, my brothers come up and they just cause more problems, and they try to bring up more bullshit, and it's like, I'm done. I'm tired. My wife saw me one day. So I called my mother one day to check up on her, and I've said the story before, but I called my mother one day to check up on her, and I told her, wow, you know, so, you know, my brother's baby looks just like him. He can't deny her, as a joke, right? As a joke.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck she told him, but I get angry phone calls saying, you can't be near my daughter. What the fuck's your problem? And blah, 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 blah. Then his baby's mama's reaching out to me. They're saying that they said that you said you were going to help them take my kid away. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, Lord.
So what I did was I put my mother on speaker. I called her back, and I had my brother's baby mama on the other phone. And as I'm talking to the mother of as I'm talking to my mother, she's hearing my brother's baby mama is hearing what my mother is saying to me, what she's responding to me, and everything about the conversation. Where after I was done, okay, I told my mother, obviously me calling you to say hi does nothing good. Nothing good comes from me calling you to say hi. So I'm no longer going to do that. Then I got when I got with my brother's baby mama, and I'm like, did you hear that? Did I say those things? No. Okay, well, I'll let you go too. Hung up on her, and my wife said that she can see the look on my face as I'm walking out the door. They knew that I was going to come sit in the garage and cry it out.
Well, yeah, because that's insane. That's a situation where people take your words and make 7 different stories out of it.
Yeah. So
like, sheesh.
my boys came in here and they came to check up on me, and I told myself, never again am I going to allow my kids to see me cry over their fucking stupidity.
Yeah.
Done.
But sometimes you just need to cry, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but how many times? Because that's my wife has told me.
Yeah.
These boys are tired of seeing you cry.
Oh.
They're done.
And it sucks too when your kids do start to see things like that, you know, and that like really kind of kicks your ass in gear. Like, all right, I got to do this differently now. And no, I get it 100%.
Yeah. Well, I just give you props. You know, I'm sure you're doing whatever you got to do to move forward because of your kids. Your kids obviously probably give you motivation to keep moving forward.
Big motivation.
So
I appreciate that.
No problem. So I'm going to ask you the same question I ask all parents. You know, you said you have an 11-year-old and you have a 4-year-old.
Yes.
I do say I don't recommend my podcast. I finally caught on and I finally told myself I don't recommend this podcast to kids because these are grown-up conversations.
Right.
So if your 4-year-old and your 11-year-old one day as adults were to go back and listen to this episode, what advice would you give them?
Just to learn from it. Like, do things that aren't going to stress you out. Don't deal with people because you feel like you have to. Only deal with people because you love them and you genuinely feel the love back. Like, I guess it's kind of cliche, but don't make some of the same mistakes I did. You know what I mean? Learn from them and do better because I want the best for my children. You know what I mean? So I hope one day when she does listen to it and she's like, Mom, I can't wait for her response, I guess you could say. Like, just listen, if you listen to it, just know that I've always tried and I've wanted better for you. Like, these are certain, because like when we become parents, I guess you're supposed to get like all these good, you know, parental advice and lessons you get from your parents. All I've gotten is cycles I have to break. You know what I mean? So like for my kids, like we're not going to be a part of those same cycles. So in return, like they're going to grow up to be better. That's all I ask, pretty much.
There you go. I forgot to ask you when we took notes. Are you okay with sharing your socials? TikTok, Instagram?
Yeah.
Shoot 'em.
No problem. Okay, so what about? I mean, I guess not Facebook. We won't do Facebook.
No. Instagram. TikTok's fine.
Okay, TikTok. I think it's Tip Talk on TikTok, and it's like tip_3010. Or no, that's my Instagram. It's tip3010 on TikTok, and then on Instagram, it's at tip_3010 is how you can find me.
I'm verifying right now. I'm looking for your messages.
I'm pretty sure TikTok is tip3010. And then Instagram is tip_3010.
So her TikTok is TIPP3010, and her Instagram is let me see here. It says we're on the phone.
Should be TIPP_3010. TIPP_3010. Yep.
Well, thank you. I know in the East Coast it is a lot later than it is over here, so I appreciate you
10:02.
making time for the podcast. And you know, it's not the first. Doesn't have to be the first. It doesn't have to be the last episode. You're welcome anytime. And
I appreciate you having me. This was a really good thing to experience, so I appreciate you.
No problem. So, Tip, like I end every podcast, thank you for riding with me.
Of course. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Andy podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.